Right, today we tackle the final round of My Team Season 2. Looking at the standings, heading into the final race, as you can see, we are P11 in the drivers. Unbelievable, considering like 2 races ago, we were like, I don't even know, at P14. But of course, last time out of Vegas, we got a podium, and might I add, some incredible overtakes as well. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. Exclusively for the overtakes, they are fantastic. And in the constructors, we sit P7. Now, we trail Alpine by 18 points. Let's be real here, I am not outscoring Alpine by 18 points today. As much as I'd like to be surprised, it's just not happening. So, of course, we want P7. We need to outscore RB, or just, at the bare minimum, finish ahead of them and get us P7. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Alright, final quali of the season. Now, of course, quali is always very important, but I'd say around here, it's actually one of the more important ones, because even though there is 2 very long DRS straights, if you get caught up in a DRS straight, you can't really overtake anyone, and you might just be in the mud. Although, to be fair, saying it like that, it makes me realise that overtaking is actually difficult no matter where you go, even within a DRS straight or not, because the cars are so massive. But anyway, let's take a look at the first lap times we have. Of course, no one cares about the top 10. We care about the RBs and Teo Porsche. Now, of course, it's important to keep in mind that our car is still second slowest and quite a distance away from third slowest. I don't actually know who is currently slowest. It might be... It's either Haas or it's Sauber. I don't know which one. So let's take a look. The highest RB, our main target, is going to be Sonoda with a 21.6. So that is going to be our .1 target for today. The second RB is going to be Ricardo, of course. A 10.5 back, a 21.8. So that's our second target. So a 21.65, 21.8. Teo Porsche. Oh my, egregious. He's going to be 4 tenths down on Magnussen. That is shockingly bad. I'm just hoping that's a stinky lap from Teo. Sector 1 is nah, Sector 2 is nah, Sector 3 is where it all falls away for him. So, of course, like I said, 21.65 is what we're looking for. So, let's see how we get on. Now, if you're enjoying my team career mode, or if this is your first time watching one of my videos, why not consider subscribing? I try and upload at least every other day. I do a lot of career mode stuff, and I'm really grinding for 1.5k, and hopefully by the end of the year, upwards of 3k. So, come join along. And now, let us begin my first run of Abu Dhabi. Now, I say it every single time, every episode, but I haven't driven around here in ages. Oh, wow, turning radius is going to be very dodgy through turn 1. I've already gone off track limits. That's tough. To be honest, I was expecting a bit more downforce. Sector 1's coming up, and as expected, it was a bit slow. But to be honest, not that far off. I mean, there is definitely 2 tenths in there. Now, of course, down 1 of 2 back straight, so I can just unleash my overtake. I'm going to go down to 40. That's a reasonable amount, I reckon. And then, of course, we send it into turn whatever number it is. Get in. Keep it nice and tight over the bump. Don't have oversteer. Nice exit. DRS gets enabled. Now we're going to go all the way down to about 20%. Just so we've got a little bit spare. We're not using too much. Sector 2 is coming through, and it's actually going to be down again. I was honestly expecting it to be a little bit up just because that felt pretty good. I also got off track limits again there, but I don't really care, to be honest. Into Sector 3, where I am decently fast on some occasions. I do like to send it in and use all of the grip I have available to me. Going through the penultimate corner. Now, it's important here to not go completely wide, which I haven't done, and also avoid a little snap at the exit. And there we go. We crossed the line at 22.3. Keep in mind, the target lap time I was going for was a 21.65, so I am 7 tenths away from the RBs. Wow. I mean, I suppose you could say at least I'm 3 positions ahead of my teammate, but that's not much of an achievement, to be honest. We're looking for P7. That isn't the way to do it. Of course, if RB scores 0 points, or, well, I mean, to be fair, let's think about it realistically. Our RB, they need a top 7, you know, to actually beat us. So that probably isn't going to happen anyway, but of course I want it to be close. So that isn't ideal. Alright, here we go then. Final qualifying run of the season. The RBs have both improved to 21.60s. So that's obviously the lap time we're going for, but that isn't going to happen. I'd say I'd like to get into the 1 minute 21s, but that's still a tall order. So through turn 1, I need to brake more and sort of get it in. Okay, that was nice. I found a little bit of time through there. I don't know why my car is lacking so much in downforce. It's just not what I'm used to be honest. But through sector 1, I'm going to find 2.5 tenths improvement. So that's already a very nice start. Very, very slow around there though. But I did get a nice exit. And I'm just instantly going to double the DRS and the ERS. I'm going to go down to 35 this time. So, of course, I'm going to have a bit less down the second straight. And I am going to lose a lot of time. But if I brake a bit later... Oh, no, I've braked too late. Okay, that's why we can recover this. Go over the curb, get on the exit nice and early. Okay, found a little bit more time. But, of course, this is where I'm going to start losing a lot because I'm not going to have the same overtake available. Now, into Sector 3, I'm going to brake a little bit more. Keep it tight and then just sort of unleash the grip and the speed of the car. 4 tenths up now. Into Sector 3, the final sector of the season. Let's just try and find some improvement. I reckon it's going to be my main objective. Keeping it nice and tight. Get on the power. Found another 10th. Around the penultimate corner, I'm going to brake a little bit earlier this time so I can actually hit the apex. Get on the exit. That's nice. 6 tenths improvement is going to put me at a 21.7 roughly, and P17 isn't too much to grumble about. I mean, realistically, we've got the second worst car on the grid, meaning P20 should be roughly where we're going to be, and I'm 3 places ahead of that. So, all things considered, I don't think that's too shabby. And plus, I was only a 10th or so off the RBs, unless they improved again, which they actually did. Wow, okay, so... there's the final results of the season in quali. Hamilton takes pole ahead of Piastri by 2 tenths, and Sergio Perez in P3 sets the exact same lap time as Piastri. That's quite fun. But looking at the RBs and us, our main rivals, so Tsunoda and Ricciardo both lock out P14 and 15 on the grid. A 21.5 for Tsunoda, a 21.5 for Ricciardo. We... P17 missing out on Q2, which to be honest, I completely forgot I did full quali. I miss out by like 3/4 of a tenth. Maybe on a perfect lap I could have done it, but that would have been really difficult. So hopefully Tsunoda and Ricciardo drop stinkers in Q2. But for us, for the final round of the season, we're going to be starting P17 and P22. And here it is, the final round of season numero dos. I was just watching back my final qualifying lap there. I definitely could have found 3/4 of a tenth, like, easily. I broke late into that corner up there on the left, and I also broke too late, into the corner after the first DRS at the back straight. I could have easily found like a 10.5. But anyway, P17, let's hope the RBs drops a stinker. And, well, the RBs have got to get a combined 5 points to beat us. Let's just pray on their downfall and just drive our race. Here's the strategy for the final race. Of course, it's just the same bog standard thing, just medium to hard. Stopping 1 lap earlier than everyone else, try and get the undercut going, see how that goes for us. And I think we're ready. I think I can see an RB ahead of me. Is there a car there? There is. There's the other RB. Okay. So the RBs qualified P14 and 16. That's ideal. I got one right in front of me and the other's just there. I can definitely get a move past them, maybe after the first DRS straight. So, let us begin the final round. Let's do it. Come on, for the final time this season, we're off to see the wizard, and that is not a bad start. I am already going to be wheel to wheel with Lance Stroll, and he's gone. I've got to be careful of him into turn 1, though. This is going to get a bit messy. Round the outside of one of the RBs as well. Go on, oh, that is lovely stuff. Hang on. Almost just sent it straight into Russell's arse then. That wasn't going to go well. And now I've got Ricciardo trying to fight me on the outside. That is very cringe. Can you just stop it? Like, leave me alone. Round the outside here, just take a wider line because I did. There's no real explanation to that. And we're off down the straight. Now, do I have the straight line speed to maybe go for a move on Tsunoda? No, Tsunoda's actually going to go for a move on Russell. Let's see if anything develops here. I've crashed into both of them. Don't worry, you saw nothing. Lance Stroll's going around the outside of me. That's not even Lance Stroll, that's Daniel Ricciardo. It's all very messy, to be fair. This is horrible racecraft by FUTcrim, but we move. Potential move on George Russell here into the swooping left. Not going to happen. I don't know why Russell's down here. Shouldn't you be like a bit further up, boss? I'm not too sure, but you know, I've managed to gain 2 places on the opening lap, an almost unheard of thing on the FUTcrim channel, and I'm ahead of one RB, and the other one is in P13 right in front of me. So, as P7 goes in the constructors, it's all looking very good on lap numero 1. DRS is now enabled, and it seems like my straight line speed is actually very decent. That might have been while I was losing so much time in quali, especially in Sector 3. I reckon I've just got a lot of straight line speed today. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo round the outside of me. I've got to try and defend because Tsunoda is blocking me off. A very intelligent move by the AI, albeit I don't think it was on purpose. Ricciardo is still sticking this in. I wasn't expecting that from the boy. Hang on, this is going to be very dangerous going wheel to wheel into Sector 3. Surely I don't get done like this, right? Now I get the inside line. I am going to defend. And now I've got Tsunoda 1 place in front of me. So I don't know. I definitely don't have the pace in Sector 1 to catch up to him exactly. But I'm hoping that as long as I get DRS, I should be able to have a go at him at some point in the near future. Right, something just isn't working here. For some reason, I am just so slow in the braking zones. Like, just everywhere. I am so egregiously, terribly, horrifically slow on this racetrack. Sector 1 especially, as I almost lose the car. That's probably going to allow Ricciardo to go past me. But Sector 1, I am losing like half a second a lap when there's literally nothing there. It's 1 corner. And it's like, it's the 2 flat-out corners where I'm losing all the time, and I don't really know what's causing it. But what I do know is I've got no battery left. Tsunoda is now a second ahead of me, and there is no catching him because he's a lot quicker than me. Everyone behind me is a lot quicker than me, meaning by the end of next lap, I could see myself down to like P20. Alright, so now I've got no DRS, and I've got no ERS recharge. I gain about 10% a lap, so there goes Ricciardo going on through. That's tough. I mean, at least now I get DRS. I suppose that's nice, but that's not going to help me much because, you know, Ricciardo's a lot quicker than me. So, yeah, this isn't very fun, I've realised. That's sort of a conclusion that I've come to, is that this isn't fun. This is the opposite of fun. I'm having a miserable time. I think it's because where I've been playing a lot of Senna career mode recently, and I'm doing a lot of like Jenson Button career in the Mercedes. I'm doing a lot of Haas to Glory, and the Haas isn't that bad of a car. I always forget how shockingly bad this My Team car is. Like, yeah, it's second slowest, but like, this is terrible. I've got considerably less downforce than everyone else, less grip, more tyre wear, basically 0 ERS charge. So I'm in the mud here. But we're going to stick in it. I am stopping in 2 laps time. I've got a bit of DRS. I don't know if that's actually going to help me much. Here comes Jack Doohan. I might have... No, I'm going to have to use overtake here. Jesus Christ, how fast are you? I just used, like, all of the ERS I have to spare, and he's still there. All of the other cars, I just thought I'm always faster than. This is so cringe. Leave me alone. Like, personal space, please. Give me, like, a lap to relax and just chill for a second. But no, it's just relentless pressure. Go away. I'd just like to say thank you, Lance Stroll. I never thought I'd be thanking him for anything, but realistically, he has been scrapping with Jack Doohan. And what that's allowed me is finally a bit of free space where I'm not being pressured and like I'm having to drive defensive. I can actually just drive the car. And it's a very nice feeling. I feel free. I feel escaped. Do you know what I mean? We are stopping next lap. Tyre wear is okay, though. It's a lot less than what the game was predicting. the game was predicting that around lap 9, I'd be rocking, you know, low 30s in the tyre wear, whereas I'm actually in, like, the low 20s, and, you know, it's only 2 laps away. So I think I am still going to stop a lap earlier, because there's no real downside to it, because overcuts very rarely work in this game. I definitely don't think it's going to work here, and I'm in 16th, so it ain't like if I lose places, it's like, yeah, so what, do you know what I mean? Right, into the pits we must go. E-I-E-I-O for the final time this season. I will say, actually, my pace got a lot better in those final 2 laps of that stint. In fact, I was actually thinking of maybe staying out an extra lap, but realistically, if I do that, then everyone else is going to stop on that same lap, and I don't really gain anything. Whereas with this, if it fails, so what? Also, can we just appreciate, before I carry on, the sheer class of that pit stop. 2.3 second stop. Incredibly smooth from the team. Well done, boys and girls. You deserve a raise for that one. But yeah, I don't lose anything by undercutting. If I lose a couple positions, so what? If I gain any, brilliant. So, of course, now, need to put in a decent lap. Needs to be very above average to actually make the undercut work. And I will say, just by that corner alone, there's definitely a lot more grip on these tyres, so I should be able to put a decent lap together. It's just whether it can actually get me ahead of some cars, do you know what I mean? Alright, everyone else is now making their stops, or at least some of them are. I can't actually see whom yet because I'm driving around a corner at 300 kph. There is an RB in the pits. Will I get ahead of them, though? It's the question. There is Sonoda. He's going to be at the pit exit. This is going to be very, very close with Sonoda. There is Sonoda, and the undercut has worked slightly. I have managed to gain about 2 seconds because of the undercut. You know what? We absolutely take that. That should mean, in theory, I should be ahead of Ricciardo when he stops at the end of this lap. So that is ideal. I might also do my cringe tactic of just staying behind Sonoda or whichever car's ahead of me, and just use the DRS to stay with them, keep my tyres happy, keep my ERS charged, and then obviously I just hold position. Whenever I want to overtake them, I just sort of do it. So I might do that, and then obviously when I overtake him, that should eliminate RB from going past us in the constructors. So that is doubly ideal. Ricciardo is now making his way into the pits, I think. Let's have a little butchers. Yes, he definitely is. Track limits? How have I managed to get a track limits on regular corner cutting? I have no idea. But you can see Ricciardo, he's currently in the pits, and I'm going to be definitely ahead of him. And hopefully by a somewhat decent margin as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, I am ahead of him. There is also the Williams of Alex Albon, right ahead of Sonoda. And Ricciardo is 1.2 seconds back. So yeah, I gained about 1.5 seconds, upwards of 2 seconds, because of the undercut. Was it worth it? Yeah, probably. Definitely. I've managed to gain a position, and I'm now right behind Sonoda. Only downside is, of course, because now Sonoda's in the DRS train as well, behind the Williams and the Alpine, it means I can no longer do my tactic of overtaking him whenever I want, because obviously he's got DRS, it's a lot more difficult. Cool, Alex Albon and this Alpine enough giving it some. That might, holy moly, where has that exit from Sonoda come from? I'm sorry, but he just gained about 0.5 seconds on me. That was insane from Sonoda, and it's all kicking off. It is all kicking off around this fast left. It's a very scary time. We have got Gasly and Albon giving it some serious scrappage, which is a bit crap because Sonoda was actually about to lose DRS. He wasn't looking too hot, but now he's back. So that's a little bit on the cringe side, but it's okay. Alright, well that's a top 10 overtake of all time. One of those where it was just completely and utterly unexpected, but one I will absolutely take. Okay, top stuff by FUTcrim on the final race of the season. Just absolutely sent it. Honestly, I just sort of braked where I thought was correct. Turned out I braked a lot later than Sonoda, and then just sort of saw the gap and went for it, because as we know, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer racing driver. Do you know what I mean? That's just how it goes. So we're up to P14 in this race. Of course, I would like to stay within DRS range of Pierre Gasly, just so I can stay ahead of Tsunoda. And obviously, if I finish where I am, or even if Tsunoda gets back past me, I think it's pretty much guaranteed at this stage that we will finish P7 in the Constructors, which is ginormous, considering how milk dog water crap the car has been this season. That's an incredible achievement from the boys, really. That's fantastic. But of course, we still have like 5 laps left, so it ain't all over, but realistically, it is all over. 5 laps remain of not just the race, but the entire season. The final 5. I've got Tsunoda right up my arse. Not a very comfortable feeling, I must admit. But luckily for me, Albon and Gasly are still scrapping hard, so I should be okay. But I'm not too sure, to be honest. I am losing a lot of overtake, but I don't know. Oh my goodness, never mind. I was not expecting Tsunoda to come at me with such wrath as he just did. That was scary. I should also point out, Danny Rick is directly behind the geezer. I have got both RBs right up my arse. I am actively griefing them from overtaking me, and we do have a yellow flag somewhere up ahead. It's going to be one of the Ferraris. It's Charlie. Final race of the season, and Charlie has a big stinky DNF, and that is tough. So GG's to Leclerc, but the game's the game, and somehow that's just how it goes. So yeah, tough shit. Final 3 laps, and I will say the car has kind of fallen to pieces around right-sided corners. I'm going to assume, based on that evidence, that the right-hand side of my car is not looking too brilliant. I'll wait until I get around this corner if I actually do. I've been spinning a lot. Of course, you don't see that because I cut it out. Let's have a look quick. Yeah, as expected, as anticipated, the right side isn't looking great, particularly right front, sitting at a mid-20, but it still shouldn't be that bad. But yeah, the car has fallen to pieces a little bit. Now, I'm sort of hoping that something like that happens, where Gasly has a little bit of a moment, and maybe there's a move on. There is definitely a move on. Come on. Edge a little bit closer, get closer, send it, I'm sending it. Whoa, Gasly left that move late. Around the inside of the geezer, and he's done it. And now I've got Tsunoda going for it, and oh, God, son. But yeah, Gasly moving to the left to try and overtake Albon, I think, almost just takes me out of the race and ends my life. But he didn't. And so we're up to P12. I've got another track limits warning. I'm not sure how I'm doing it. I mean, I know I'm going off track, but like, it's on regular, so I should get away with it. But anyway, penultimate lap of the race. Is there a potential move on here on Alex Albon? I will say that my pace is going to be worse, but maybe with the DRS, you just never know, do ya? Let's see what it's looking like then. I'm going to go down to 30%. Go to about there. Use a bit of hot lap as well. How close am I going to get? Okay. That's pretty good, actually. I gained, like, what? 7/10? Reasonable. What about around here? Is there anything going on? Not really. I think I'm going to try and save until the final lap. And then, obviously, just absolutely send it on the geezer round here. That is going to be my objective, really. I mean, let's be real. A P11 in the final race of the season would be an extremely nice way to end the season, a properly decent result, that. And here it is, final lap of the race. And I will say this whole season, really, well, it's been mostly complete and utter shite. We have had either the slowest or the second slowest car for the entire duration of the season. And, you know, bar Vegas, Monza, I think Baku as well, and maybe Imola. It's been terrible, just consistently driving at the back of the grid, and in a few very good performances, seeing myself boosted into the points. And of course, that podium at Las Vegas, one of the best performances I've ever done. So definitely a good season in terms of results. You know, we got the, the P3, P7, like P6, I believe. Some very, very good results, and it isn't over yet. There is a move on here on Alex Albon. Come on, let's do it. Come on. Down to 10% overtake. He's going to force me to the outside, switch it to the inside, send it around. Now I have the inside line to hug it. Get on the exit. He's still there. He's still fighting this. But now, of course, once I get around here, he's going to still be on the inside. But now I get the inside line. And I get the move. Let's go. P17 to P11. That is a wonderful way to finish the season. Checo Perez wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's do a little drift on the exit. There you go. That's nice. And there it is. Season 2 is done. Wow. That race turned out from being miserable to actually quite fun. I will blame the hard tyres for that one, because that's usually what happens. I put on the hards, and I'm not only quicker, I'm more consistent, but it's just more fun. And also, I completely forgot how close the fight for the drivers was. It went all the way down to the last race, and Lewis Hamilton is the world champion for the 8th time. Well done, boss. Well done, mate. See you at Ferrari next season. And here is your final results for the final race of the season. Bosh. There it is. So, Perez wins from P8 on the grid. Not quite sure how he's done it. He done it by half a second ahead. Oh, bro, I didn't realise how close that race was. It just shows how competitive the field's got. I mean, think of how far behind I was throughout the majority of that race, just like the cars ahead. I was only 8.5 seconds off the lead. Wow, there was only 3 seconds splitting the top 9. Just think, 1, 2, 3. 9 cars are finished. That is pretty crazy. Looking at the standings, we all know the answers. Yuki Tsunoda dropped all the way down to P14 at the end there. Daniel Ricciardo P15, Teo Pourchaire P20, finishes ahead of another car on pace. That's decent by him, although I reckon something did go wrong with Jack Doohan. He was, 7 seconds off, so I don't know. But anyway, the Drivers' Championship looks like this. Lewis Hamilton wins by 7 points over Leclerc. Leclerc today, oh, I didn't even realise. I apologise for being so oblivious of the Drivers' Championship, but of course, with Leclerc's DNF, that took him away. That took away his drivers. He might have won the drivers today if he didn't DNF. Wow, that's crazy. Max Verstappen finishes 3rd overall. We finished 12th overall. Hulkenberg scored points today. A very strong P7 for Hulky Poo, meaning he does overtake us, but P12 and, P14 in the drivers is still a fantastic result. Of course, Teo Pourchaire's 12 points did come from his time at Aston Martin. He joined us and then got like a DNF, and then all just P21s. And in the constructors, we all know the results. For us, P7, but what's it going to look like at the top? Mercedes take the dub. I expect that since, they won the drivers. 397 points in 16 races. That's pretty good. 34 points back is Ferrari. 64 points back Red Bull. Pretty close overall. And, yeah, we do take P7. 19 points off Alpine. That was never going to happen today. The main thing was just securing P7 over RB. And, of course, I finished ahead of both of them, so it was never going to happen. And there you have it. Season 2 is now complete. If you watched this episode, any of the other episodes, all of the episodes of Season 2, I thank you very much, and I will be back very, very soon, in like 2 or 3 days' time, probably, to resume the series and start Season 3. Thanks for watching, that's all from me. Like and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.